Hello and welcome back to the Without the Bank podcast, where you and I are going to talk about all things IBC, the business of banking, utilizing your money correctly, and how this will help you grow your business and your wealth. All right, folks, I have less IBC stuff to talk about today, but I do want to talk about something awesome that I was listening to by John Maxwell, and I think it fits everybody in every aspect of life. Well, I know it does. But it ultimately doesn't matter if it is IBC, if it's business. So I just wanted to share it today because, there's a lot of you that are business owners that are watching. And I was new at one point, and this would have helped me a ton. So today we are going to talk about players versus pretenders. And if you do not listen to John Maxwell's podcast, I highly encourage you to do so. I absolutely love the part of his podcast where he is speaking. He does have some of his teammates that are speaking towards the end of the podcast, and I enjoy that some of the time, but the majority of the time I just really like John's portion. And in this particular podcast, this just really struck a note. Because it doesn't matter if we have employees that are children. It does not matter if we are, hiring people and trying to find those good players instead of the pretenders. And so let's go over his list. Now, it wasn't a super long podcast, but I had to listen to it about 4 or 5 times because it was so good. And then I had to write it out in columns so that my brain could process it. I am very much a visual learner, and so I do not process things by listening to them. Clearly, I had to listen 5 times and still didn't get it, and then I had to write it down. And then I was like, oh yeah, I pretty much got this, but now I'm going to have to read it about 15 times. So those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can see I'm still reading it. Still there. Once I get something, I get it. But I take like super complicated things and I break them down into what my little brain can remember. And it's only probably about 5% of what I should remember on the whole entire subject until I completely study that subject. So for those of you that are, IBC clients or listening for IBC, I do know that because I've done it for 12 years. But believe me, it took some time and some very patient people to help me get there because I was not a good student in school. Okay, let me rephrase. Let's just touch on that subject for a sec. I was a fine student in school. Teachers just didn't know how to teach to me. I can learn. There are no question about my learning ability. I can learn 100%. I just don't learn through a lecture. And that is what our school system thinks, right? So I just learned a little bit different and the teachers didn't know how to teach to me. So it ain't my fault. Okay, players versus pretenders. This is so good, you guys. Players will always do their part and pretenders will play the part. Think about it. Business partners, employees, whatever it is that you're doing. I relate it to employees and business partners. One is going to do the part and most likely do the part without being asked. Give it 100%, participate in the growth. The other one is just going to play the part. I'm just going to play the part of co-owner. I'm going to play the part of manager. I'm going to play the part of assistant. And I don't really care if it is what you would call entry level assistant, like, oh, I'm answering the phones. And people think, oh, I'm answering the phones, so I'm not really valuable. It doesn't really matter if I'm happy or not. No. If you're answering the phone and you're an assistant, you are the face of that business. The face. If your boss does not recognize that, if you are an employer and you don't recognize the fact that your employees are the face of your business, you might want to sit back, put your ego aside, and look at who your people are. They're the first in contact. When I walk through a door, when I call somebody, that is the face of the business at that moment. Okay? A player will have a servant mindset, and a pretender will have a selfish mindset. A servant mindset will say, you know what, I will go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter how high up in the company I am. It doesn't matter if I'm the owner of the company. I will go ahead and do that. And so I had a past employee who, and we all know I sell books, right? And we ship them right out of our own office. Well, houses, whatever, because everybody works from home in my office. But we ship them out of our location. And it does not matter. I am the owner of the business. If my assistants are gone and they have the day off, somebody needs a book, I will ship them. I can create a label. I maybe don't know how to run the report, but I do know who to contact to run the report. So I can get them sent out. Even if I don't know how to run the report anymore, I will learn how to run that report before my help leaves so that I can do it. I am not too big to send out books. I am not too big to go pick up office supplies. Is it the best use of my time? Nope. But it is not below me. Okay? If I need to go get something for them, we were training a new employee and I happened to be out and about that morning, had to run some errands. And I stopped at the donut shop and I got donuts and I brought them donuts. Is it below me to do nice things? No, absolutely not. I will do things that are probably not a position for a manager to be doing or a business owner to be doing. But sometimes it happens. And I have seen people who I was talking about this. I had a past employee who said, well, I shouldn't have to run books. Can't we get somebody else to run books? You want me to do it? Because apparently you're too good to run the book report and to fulfill the book orders and to take them to the mail? Oh, really? Pretender, not a player. A player will do whatever asked because they want the mission to be accomplished, which is the next thing that he talked about. They are mission conscious versus mission driven versus motion. So this is really how he explained this one, is one will give up their position to accomplish the mission. The other one will say, well, I don't need that mission. Who cares about the mission? But give me the title because I deserve the title. This is where so many people get hung up. I don't have titles in my company. I don't care about titles. Does not matter. Because guess what? I'm the owner of the business, but I could not run this business and my clients would not be taken care of if it was not for my assistants. And I say all the time, if you want to talk to the boss, you talk to my assistants. Because they're the boss, not me. I'm sitting here meeting with clients, I'm building relationships, I'm strategizing, I'm doing what I need to do. But who's actually running the business are those frontline people. And so if you are a frontline person listening, then act like you're a player, not a pretender, and you will excel if you have a good boss. Okay? If you are the business owner, then acknowledge the fact that you have a player or a pretender. Why is somebody acting like a pretender? Is it because they really just are a pretender? Or is it because you're treating them like a pretender? Right? It goes both ways. Oh, believe me, I know this firsthand. If you have somebody employed that is entitled, or if you are an employee that has an entitlement mentality, there's no changing that. There's no changing that. You're going to be a pretender all day long. And if you have a pretender hired, you're probably not going to change it. You may as well just move on till you find a new one. But this was so good. So good. A player is job happy and a pretender is a job hunter. Oh my gosh, I love this. because I never hated a job. When I was employed, I loved every single job I had. Oh, and I was committed to the mission, man. What are we trying to accomplish? Let's do it. But it is interesting how many people will quit a job because they're not happy. Oh, the next one will be happy, which he also addresses. He calls it the destination disease. They move to be happier. Then he went on to say they have the someone sickness. Success is always somewhere else. The backslider blues. Success is impossible because of what they did yesterday. Who cares what you did yesterday? Move on, get up, get going. The someone sickness. I'm always going to be successful somewhere else. Are you? Okay. Alrighty then. We as business owners have seen, oh my gosh, I can see past employees, which ones were players and which ones were pretenders. Oh, they make the list. Okay, let me go on. Players will deliver the good and pretenders will promise the goods. So a player will deliver the goods. I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. No questions asked. They are doers. Pretenders just say they will. Oh, I'm going to, and they never do. No. Players love to see others succeed, and a pretender only wants themselves to succeed. Ooh. Who loves to see other people succeed? Are you the boss that is pushing people to succeed? My assistant that has been with me for 3 years now, I gently nudge because she's amazing and I want her to succeed in her time frame because I have to be cognizant of her family and that her family is important to her. And she's not quite as crazy as I am to just go, right? Because her kids are smaller than mine. And so I'm slowly moving her into success. Slowly. And it's fantastic to watch. I love it. When I hire new people, I explain to them, I want you to succeed. If it's not with me, it's with somebody. What can I do to set you up for success within the organization or outside of the organization? It doesn't matter. What can I pour into you to help you succeed? Even as a client, when people come to me in their first meeting, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this was awesome. Because why? We are running strategies about what can we do to generate cash flow? What can we do to increase the business? What can we do for marketing? What kind of business can we start? I am trying to push them to success. What has been stopping them? Because why? Once they have money, they're going to need to utilize it. And they may not have it today, but they have the dreams and they just don't know how to get there. So let's push them to success. Who cares if it's about me or not? I absolutely love it. And clearly you can hear my passion because I love it when younger agents come in and I can help them navigate and say, this is what I did wrong and this is what I did right. Now, you know what I don't like is the pretender that doesn't take that information and use it. Then I'm out. Clock's done. If I'm going to give you the information and you don't use it, I'm done. I don't got time for that because I got the information and I used it and I used it and I used it and I'm using it today. And I'm not even getting it from people that I know that are successful. I'm getting it off of podcasts, right? I may do some coaching here or there. I might listen to colleagues and see what are they doing? How can I do it better? Because I'm a player. You've got employees that are players. Right now, I've got amazing employees that are players because they understand the mission. They've taken it on as part of their own. And we're going to go out and do what we need to without being entitled. Had I had this list, if I would have had this list 6 years ago when I hired my first employee, oh my gosh, it would have been amazing, amazing. So if you don't listen to John Maxwell's podcast, do it. There's so many good things on there, and I love them, love them, love them. We can link this to anything. If you want to be a player with the infinite banking concept, you buy a policy and you get started. If you want to be a pretender, you talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, don't do anything about it, right? If you want to be a player, you're going to listen, you're going to educate. If you're going to be a pretender, you're just going to hang out. Do whatever. Use it as a savings account. Player, pretender. You get to decide. Okay. He had another podcast. He had like a second one that had a couple things on there. I didn't write those down. I was not like, whoa, when he talked about those. So you can go back and listen if you want. If you guys, I hope this helped. I hope that you guys got something out of that and you are making your list. I hope you have your 2 columns going and sticking it on your wall so that you know who the player is and who the pretender is. All right, guys. If you need me, Mary Jo at withoutthebank.com. If you have not gotten the books yet, be a player, don't be a pretender, and go to withoutthebank.com and grab your books there. You can also get Nelson Nash's there, Becoming Your Own Banker, and mine is obviously Life Without the Bank. So let me know if you need anything. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.